Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the second lecture of chapter 5, metal casting. Let us quickly review what we did in chapter 5, lecture 1 first, right? So that is what we will do. After that, we will continue with fluid flow in the mold. We'll talk about flow characteristics. Hopefully, we'll solve an example. We'll talk about buoyancy in sand casting and fluidity of the molten metal. We'll then move on to heat transfer, right? That was fluid flow, then heat transfer in the mold, solidification time, an example about it, pattern making, and then the new topic, big new topic would be melting practice and furnaces. So we will talk about furnaces in general, then these type of furnaces: cupola, direct fuel fired furnace, crucible furnace, electric arc furnace, induction furnace, ladle, and so on. Now, time allowing, we will see where we stop today, right? But we start with the continuation of fluid flow, then we move on to heat transfer. So these two are in the sand mold, and then we start talking about what different types of furnaces are used in metal casting to do melting of the metal, and go until the time allows for the lecture. So what did we cover in lecture 1? Very quickly, so that you are in the same mental frame where you left last time, right? We introduced the course and the topic, not the course, we introduced solidification methods, and we talked about what are parts made by casting, big, what is the castability of different types of metal alloys. Castings can be from simple to complex and a variety of materials and shapes and sizes. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the casting process? Some basic steps in the casting process. Classification of casting into expendable mold and permanent mold. A general classification of all the solidification processes, including casting, and casting of course is classified into expendable mold and permanent mold. Then the topic of solidification of metals, that if a metal is in a molten state and then we solidify it, we cool it, then what happens? So because this is part of your material science course, so this was left as a self, but I showed you the topics: temperature and density changes during cooling, two-phased alloys, binary nickel copper alloy, iron carbide phase diagram, right? So all of this is from your previous course. So some slides are here just to remind you. You can go through these slides and the part of the book, or you can go to your previous lecture notes. Cast structures, the crystal structure after casting, it is not included to say. And then the topic, big topic, is fluid flow and heat transfer. If you see the lecture notes and the presentations, you will see that there is a certain color coding, right? This maroonish red or red brown is the color when we start a big new topic, right? 5.1, 5.2, 5. So this is 5.4, and inside it there will be lots of. So we talked of the different parts of our sand mold in detail. The terminology used: pattern, molding material, flask, etc. Continued with the terminology used in the sand. Then a little more about parting line, draft angle, and so on, casting with a core. And then the fluid mechanics, right? We started with talking about the Bernoulli's theorem, then the continuity equation, mass continuity or volume flow continuity, then the sprue profile equation of A1 by A2 is equal to H2 by H1. And then this equation, that if we combine the previous equations and solve, then we can find the velocity at the bottom of liquid column of any height. So this is, I think, where we stopped last time. So therefore we now start today's lecture, lecture 2. We will continue with fluid flow in the sand mold. One topic is still remaining. If you remember your fluid mechanics, if flow is there, then it can be turbulent flow and it can be laminar flow, right? You remember. The main thing is that how much disturbance there is in the flow. If the flow is very smooth, then it is generally called laminar. If the flow is very rough, if eddies are forming, if disturbances are there, then the flow is turbulent. And if you remember, there was something called the Reynolds number. The Reynolds number, which is represented as Re. If we calculate the Reynolds number of a fluid flow, then there are guidelines that after looking at the Reynolds number, you can say whether it is laminar or whether it is turbulent. Reynolds number is V d rho upon eta. V is the velocity of the liquid, d is the diameter of the channel through which it is flowing, rho and eta, rho is density and eta is viscosity of the liquid, right? So at which velocity it is flowing, what is the diameter of the pipe or channel through which it is flowing, what is the density, what is the viscosity of the liquid. So if you know these things, then you can find the Reynolds number. And you can read through all of this, but the general thing is that Reynolds number in gating systems and so on varies from about 2000 to 20,000. A Reynolds number value of up to 2000, anything less than 2000 represents laminar flow. So this is important now from a sand casting design viewpoint, right? That if there is a sand mold, then if the Reynolds number of the metal flowing through the sprue and so on is less than 2000, the flow is laminar. Between 2000 to 20,000, it is a mixture of laminar and turbulent. And above 20,000, it is definitely turbulent. It is definitely turbulent. Now, obviously, we want a smooth flow, because if the flow is smooth, then there are two things which are very critical. We have talked a bit about it in the last lecture. Air can get entrapped, right, which is called aspiration. So if aspiration happens, some air bubbles get inside the flow and go into the cavity, mold cavity. So later on, when the liquid metal is solidified, it will have small air bubbles inside, and that means the strength and the properties would be seriously poor. So that is one thing. The second is, if the flow is turbulent, it is very disturbing, this, that, rough, then it can break away small amounts of sand grains, and those sand grains can enter into the liquid metal and again go into the cavity and solidify. So now again, when you solidify, the casting is not your pure metal or alloy that it was supposed to be. There are small impurity particles of the sand inside there, and again the strength and the mechanical properties have gone down a lot, right? So we do not want aspiration, we do not want air bubbles to get entrapped, and we do not want any sand breaking from the mold and getting into it. If the turbulence is high, both of this will happen. If the turbulence is high, some air bubbles can get entrapped and some sand particles can mix into. So we do not want very turbulent. On the other hand, you say that, you see, let us have a very low Reynolds number so that there is no chance of both these things happening. But the thing is that if the liquid metal does not flow with a certain velocity, then filling of the mold cavity will take time, and we want some production rate, right? That every hour we have so many castings and so forth. So you do not want to reduce the velocity too much. It will affect the production rate on one side. Second is very technical. You see, it is molten metal, and when it gets into the mold cavity, it already starts to cool. It is cooling already, isn't it? And when it cools, of course, the parts of the metal which are in contact with the sand mold, the outer parts, they cool earlier, and the parts which are in the middle will cool later, right? The parts which are on all sides, which are in contact with the sand walls. Through the sand walls, the cooling is happening. So that will happen, but what will be there, that if the velocity of flow is small, then the liquid metal will start to solidify, and maybe it will block the cavity already. It will solidify and it will block the cavity. So the rest of the cavity has not filled up and the liquid metal has blocked. So now the rest of the metal cannot flow into the cavity completely. So very slow velocity is also bad, right? Slow velocity means slow production rate, and slow velocity means that some parts of the mold are already solidified, so all of the mold cavity cannot be totally filled. Therefore, like everything else, very small is bad, very large is bad in terms of Reynolds number, right? So when you say that the Reynolds number between 0 up to 2000 is laminar flow, so the target should be as close to 2000 as possible. After 2000, it is a mix of laminar and turbulent, but until 2000, it is a good Reynolds number, right? So this you should realize. So now you see Bernoulli equation, continuity equation, Reynolds number. So my message again is that almost all of the knowledge that you gather in your earlier courses is required in later courses in different places or in real engineering.